A wrongfully convicted man is moments away from being taken to a maximum security prison for life. As he holds his young daughter in his arms for what he believes will be the last time, she trembles and whispers something chilling in his ear. It makes his blood run cold, bruises on her arms, fear in her voice. Something is very, very wrong. But how can a man fight for justice when the world has already decided he's guilty? What would you do if your loved one was in danger and no one believed you? Let us know in the comments. And before we dive in, if you love stories of resilience, truth, and justice, subscribe to Timeless Stories and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. The courtroom was suffocating with tension, the air heavy with anticipation. A once respected detective, Daniel Carter, sat motionless in his orange jumpsuit, wrists shackled, his face unreadable. But inside, his mind was screaming. He had spent his career serving justice. Now he was its latest victim. The jury finds the defendant, Daniel Carter, guilty of first-degree murder. The words struck him like a hammer, but he refused to react. It had been a setup from the start. The evidence against him had been expertly planted. His service weapon used in the crime, surveillance footage manipulated, witness statements twisted against him. The very system he had dedicated his life to had turned on him. A corrupt force was at play, and someone powerful wanted him gone. But Daniel wasn't thinking about his fate. He was thinking about the only person who mattered, his 7-year-old daughter, Emily. She sat at the back of the courtroom, gripping her stuffed rabbit, her big tear-filled eyes locked onto him. She had already lost her mother in a tragic accident years ago. Now she was losing him too. The judge's voice cut through the silence. "Does the defendant have any final requests?" Daniel swallowed the lump in his throat. "Please, just let me hug my daughter one last time." A murmur swept through the courtroom. Even the judge, known for his ruthlessness, hesitated before exhaling heavily. 3 minutes. Emily was led to the front. The moment Daniel's cuffs were unlocked, he pulled her into his arms. He inhaled the familiar scent of her shampoo, his heart breaking. "It's okay, sweetheart," he whispered. "I love you. You're going to be okay." But Emily shook her head fiercely, her body trembling. Then she whispered something that made his breath hitch. "Daddy, if you don't stop him, he'll hurt me too." Daniel's body went rigid. He scanned her face, then her small arms. A faint bruise peeked from under her sleeve. His heart pounded in his ears. Someone was hurting his daughter, someone she was too afraid to name. The bailiffs yanked him back, forcing him away from Emily's grasp. She sobbed, reaching for him, but he was dragged out of the courtroom, the heavy doors slamming shut behind him. And in that moment, Daniel Carter made a silent vow. No matter what it took, he would get out. He would uncover the truth, and he would protect his daughter. From the confines of his prison cell, Daniel's mind worked tirelessly. He knew corruption ran deep, but this wasn't just about him anymore. This was about Emily, and someone wanted him silenced before he could connect the dots. Outside, his closest friend and former partner, Lucas Reed, wasn't sleeping. Though the department had suspended him for questioning Daniel's conviction, he wasn't about to let it go. He started digging into the case, and what he found sent a chill through his bones. The murder Daniel was framed for? It wasn't random. The victim had been an informant, one who had discovered a dirty secret within the force, a secret that someone powerful would do anything to keep buried. But Lucas wasn't the only one in danger. Daniel's daughter was the perfect leverage to keep him quiet. And then, she vanished. Daniel knew the moment the guards dragged him from his cot that something had changed. They weren't taking him to another interrogation. They weren't even looking him in the eye. Then the warden delivered the blow. "Your daughter is missing." A rage unlike anything he had ever felt exploded within him. It took 3 guards to restrain him as he roared, demanding answers. But none came. And that's when he knew. If he wanted to save Emily, he couldn't do it from behind bars. That night a riot erupted within the prison, a distraction, and Daniel seized the opportunity. With the help of an unlikely ally, a former gang leader who had his own grudge against the same corrupt figures, Daniel slipped through the chaos, navigating underground tunnels he had once helped map out during security inspections. By the time the alarms blared across the city, he was already gone. And now the real hunt began. With Lucas's help, Daniel uncovered the mastermind behind it all, Commissioner Randall Pierce, the very man who had led the case against him. The real reason behind the murder? A deep web of corruption, drug money, and human trafficking. Pierce had orchestrated the entire thing, ensuring Daniel took the fall while he kept his criminal empire intact. But the most damning evidence? Emily was being held at one of Pierce's private estates, used as nothing more than insurance in case Daniel ever found a way to fight back. But Daniel wasn't just going to fight back, he was going to end it. With Lucas providing surveillance and a well-planned infiltration, Daniel stormed the compound, taking down Pierce's guards with a level of precision that only a man with nothing left to lose could execute. And then he heard it, the soft cry of his daughter, Emily. She was locked in a room, scared but unharmed. As Daniel held her close, he promised her, "No one will ever hurt you again." And as sirens blared in the distance, as law enforcement finally arrived, not to arrest him but to take down the real criminals, Daniel knew the nightmare was over. The evidence was undeniable. The tapes, the money trails, the testimonies. Every corrupt officer, including Pierce, was arrested. And Daniel? He walked back into the courtroom, not as a prisoner, but as a man finally proven innocent. As he stepped outside, Emily ran into his arms where she belonged. The system had failed him, but he had won. Not for himself, but for her. If you had been in Daniel's shoes, would you have fought back? Would you have risked everything to protect the one person who mattered most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you believe in the power of truth and resilience, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Timeless Stories, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes justice isn't given, it's taken back.